Today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to let your actual personality come out in your videos. I know a lot of people who do videos for social media and they have great fun personalities. There's a reason that they want to be on camera. There's a reason that they want to share their content. But the second they get on camera, either they become super fake and they have this total persona that comes across as really inauthentic, or they completely freeze up and become duds. So we're going to talk about how you can avoid that. So the first trick to being yourself and letting your authentic personality shine on camera, it is what Shakespeare said above all else. What is the quote? Know thyself? Something like that. Socrates said the same thing, more succinctly, know thyself. So what is your tendency when you get on camera? If you're having a hard time feeling like you actually look and sound and talk like yourself on camera, are you going too big or too small? So I'm going to bring up just a small little bit of science as to what's going on when we become too big or too small on camera. It has a lot to do with your nervous system. When we're in an environment that's new or uncomfortable for us, our bodies will default to fight, flight, or freeze. That's just how we manage our stress responses. So if you're going into a heightened state where you feel like you have to be really big and you have to talk too much, your stress response is most likely a heightened stress response. You're either a fighter or a flighter. So to know that that is where your body is going, there are some tools that we can apply to calming ourselves down. So if you're gonna be too big, do some deep breathing before you do your videos. Take a drink of water, stretch it out, whatever you need to do to kind of get yourself into a relaxed state. Maybe that means you're gonna go for a massage the day before or right before you start doing your videos. Whatever it's gonna be that relaxes you, maybe some lavender essential oil, maybe you're gonna watch a death metal video on YouTube. I don't know what relaxes you, but whatever it is, give that a shot and see if that can help you tone down. You're gonna wanna do that between each video so that each video you can bring your fresh, newest, best self. If your tendency is to be more of a dud on camera, then your stress response is probably more of a freeze response. So what can you do to bring yourself into a state of excitement and engagement, a state where you feel like the camera is your friend, you feel less threatened by it, you feel like you can actually talk to it like it's another human being, because it is another human being that you're talking to on the other side of the camera. So for me, something that I like to do, I tend to be a freezer. Something that I like to do right before a video is I'll dance to my favorite song, or I'll do some push-ups, or I just scream it out. I know it sounds crazy. I don't know if you know anything about singing exercises or actors' techniques. There's a lot of body work involved, and a lot of the time you need to just kind of get into your body. So whatever it is that's gonna kind of amp you up, maybe it is a death metal music video, maybe it's Total Eclipse of the Heart. I don't know what amps you up, but whatever it is, get yourself a little amped before you do your videos if you tend to be a freezer. My second tip for having better authenticity on camera, bringing your personality out, is to practice being conversational. I know that's easier said than done, but it's actually a trick that a lot of actors will do. You know you're doing a good job as an actor if you're rehearsing and somebody will come up and try to participate in the conversation. So something that might help you as far as informational YouTube videos or TikTok or whatever it is that you're posting on, practice conversating to your camera. Practice just talking to it like it's a friend. Maybe the step before that is actually practicing your content with a friend or a spouse or an acquaintance, somebody that you feel comfortable having just a comfortable conversation with. Explain your information, talk to them about it in a way that gets you feeling more flowy. I know the black hole of the lens can be a little intimidating sometimes, so you want to just practice getting into a conversational flow so that you don't feel like you have to be a spokesperson. Spokesperson stuff, commercial speak, YouTuber talk, none of that comes across as authentic if it's not who you are or how you are. So really just practice getting into a conversational flow. One final thing that you can do that might help you become more conversational is practice with yourself in the mirror. Watch yourself while you're talking. Try to be very neutral and kind to yourself. It's easy to be critical, but just talk to yourself in the mirror and get a flow that feels really good. You don't want to over-rehearse your content, but you do want to learn how to get more comfortable in your mouth, speaking, talking these things out loud, so that when it comes down to it and you go to your channel, you're doing your filming, it comes out more naturally. My third and final tip for allowing your personality to shine through on your videos in your content is, if you're really struggling to come across as personable, invite somebody else onto your channel. Invite somebody else to do a video with you. Invite someone else to have a conversation. Sometimes having somebody else on camera with you or filming your content, or maybe just even across the camera from you, having a conversation like it's an interview, that can be a really good way to help you feel a little less alone in it. Being a spokesperson, being a host, being a teacher, offering people information can sometimes feel like a lonely place to be, and it can be really helpful to have somebody else. So who do you want to invite? Honestly, unless you have like a really great dynamic with them on camera where you feel really safe and comfortable, you might not want to invite your spouse. See if you can find somebody who you know already has on-camera experience. See if you can find somebody who you feel comfortable talking to about anything. Maybe that should be your spouse. Don't ask me, I'm not married. You'll also want to be really mindful of the energy levels of the person that you invite. So if you tend to close up on camera, you don't necessarily want to invite somebody who's going to be really big and huge, because then you might not draw from their energy. They might just outshine you and then make you look like an egg. An egg! I've never used that term before, but that's what we're gonna call it from now on. If you tend to be a person who becomes way too big, maybe don't invite somebody who's gonna be much more calm and refined in the way that they do their things. You want to just be really thoughtful about who it is that you're going to bring in your dynamic. Maybe you invite somebody and it's like you thought it was going to be really good, but it's totally not. Maybe there's a little trial and error in it. But generally speaking, I would say the rule of thumb is, if you're at a 5, you're going to want somebody who's at a 6. If your tendency is to be at an 11, maybe invite somebody who's at a 9. You want to be matching and equal, but maybe find somebody who can level you out just a little bit. So those were my 3 tips for today on how to bring your authentic personality out in your YouTube content. Know thyself. Know your tendencies. Know if you get too big or too small, and how to counteract that. Practice being more conversational about your content. You don't want to sound like a robot. You don't want to sound like you're reading from a teleprompter, and you don't want to sound like a news host, unless, of course, you are a news host. People want to connect with you. They want to connect with your personality, and they want to connect with your message. And the best way you're going to be able to do that is if you can learn to speak to the camera authentically and conversationally. And my third and final tip is, if you're having a really hard time being personable on camera, invite somebody to come onto your channel with you. Invite somebody who you like and trust to make content with you, help let your personality shine, and, allow people to see who you are, who the speaker of the message is, so that they can connect better with the message by connecting better with you. If you're looking for more information about how to start a YouTube channel or start your content creation journey, check out the link in the description box. We have a free mini course that teaches the top 10 things you need to know before you start a YouTube channel. We're your video allies. You've got this, we've got your back, and we can't wait to see what kind of content you create.